Have you ever wondered if the cake was actually a lie? I wonder if Lana could shed any light on the subject. And did anybody really care about Sean Puffy Combs on Raw? Not really. Get ready, guys and gals, because it's time for, once again, for WGS-TV Reviews, Monday Night Raw. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
Hi, I'm Robert Gibson.
I'm Ricky Morton.
We're the Rock and Roll Express.
And you're watching WGS-TV.
Greetings YouTube, you have worked way back into another episode of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer. Bork Lasers' return to Raw last week was completely uninteresting to me, but I'm pretty sure last week the majority of the IWC were on their knees with their mouths open ready to worship their favorite part-time superhero. So the fact that he wasn't there this week was a relief, so I didn't have to hear how supposedly great Laser is from the IWC.
Oh, he's a real fighter. He can beat up anybody. WWE should just give him every title in the entire promotion, because he's a real fighter, and it wouldn't be believable to me if he lost to anybody.
Yeah, right, IWC. Anyway, enough about my hatred for that no-talent waste of space and time. Let's talk about Raw. Monday Night Raw would open up with Enzo Amore and Big Cass in the ring discussing Enzo's encounter with the newly married WWE Women's Champion Sasha Banks, and as he coined it on Raw, his encounter with John Bon Jericho, which drew out the former Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, who had his own backup in the former NXT Champion Kevin Owens. The exchange with Owens, Big Cass, and Jericho was quite amusing, and something I've noticed about Jericho's gimmick now, a sort of comedic element to it. Allow me to elaborate. In the promo, Jericho was staring at Cass, saying he was going to hurt him, to which Cass responded accordingly with, "Let's go then." Y2J would respond with, "I wasn't talking to you," and "No, I wasn't." He basically steered it towards Enzo Amore, telling him that he was going to get it. I still don't know what it is. Now for the actual match of Enzo and Jericho. Overall, I have to say, for what it was, it served its purpose. Now I know you guys are wondering what that purpose was. Well, we would find out after the match was over. It was a setup for a tag team match at SummerSlam with Enzo Amore and Big Cass taking on Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. The segment and the match would nearly take up 30 minutes of the first hour of the show, so it was good to see how they didn't rush everything, letting it have a nice flow to it with the way the promo went to the actual match to the post-match challenge that would set up their match for SummerSlam. The actual finish of the match was Big Cass hitting a big boot on Jericho after he hit a code breaker on Enzo, giving Jericho the win via disqualification. Backstage, Mick Foley was on the phone with Stephanie McMahon, apparently when Sasha Banks appeared in frame, voicing her issues with one Dana Brooke, and even suggested that making the title match at SummerSlam a handicap match, just so Sasha could keep an eye on her. Mick Foley would counter with a match between the two, where if Sasha would win, then Brooke would be banned from ringside, but if Brooke would win, then the title match would become a handicap match. Anybody else getting a vaguely familiar Ryback-like direction with Braun Strowman? He was squashing another jobber who actually got an entrance and a ring introduction, which I found to be somewhat hilarious. You know what? If people out there want to make a big deal out of this Sean Puffy Combs guy, go right ahead. That's the most I'm going to talk about him on this commentary. When it comes to the Titus O'Neil Darren Young match, I guess WWE is trying to do something with these guys, possibly leading to a kickoff match for SummerSlam, but this is just pure speculation at this point. Finish of this match was Young with the Schoolboy Dirty Pen O'Neil, essentially returning the favor from their previous match last week on Raw. So if WWE is trying to go somewhere with them, who exactly is the heel in this storyline? Seth Rollins cut another amazing promo on Finn Balor, the Universal Championship, and SummerSlam. He brought up the fact that Finn Balor isn't Balor's real name. Duh, no shit Sherlock on that one. He would then go on a tirade about being disrespected by what Balor did and said last week, and played it off beautifully, so chalk up another great promo for the man. We would have a rematch from last week with Cesaro and Sheamus, and once again, it was a really good match. I would like to see a match 3 between these guys personally, but there's no reason to. If they would have split the wins, then yes, easily a rubber match could be made for them, but they had Cesaro take it back to back, so there's no reason to have a rubber match unless something's done backstage or out of a match that could warrant another match between them. One spot I definitely have to applaud was the amazing counter of the bro kick into a schoolboy roll-up pin. Magnificent timing, and it was pulled off beautifully. The finish of the match was Cesaro rolling up Sheamus to pick up the win. Neville would have a confrontation with the Dudley Boys on the Raw pre-show to set up their next match, as Neville would have Sin Cara as his partner and worked a really good match, but there was something I noticed during this match and after this match was over. First, during the match, there was some miscommunication with the Dudley Boys and Devon took the loss in the match, and what about that gaze of Bubba Ray right at Devon? Is that any indication of something happening with them? Because honestly, they really haven't done anything significant since they came back. Rusev and Lana would celebrate their marriage, or as I call it, rubbing it in our faces, and it was almost expected that Roman Reigns was going to come out, since last week was the genesis of their storyline for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. Reigns would make an attempt at a toast to toast the love of Rusev and Lana, or as he called it, a Bulgarian Sasquatch and a mail-order bride. Now, when you see how hot Lana looked and the cake on the table, it was only a matter of time before we would see Lana covered in cake, and would you know it, it happened. And if Lana wasn't lickable before, she sure was after being covered in cake. My only question is, what flavor of cake was it? This was quite a way to set up the United States Championship match for SummerSlam. The cake sure wasn't a lie for Lana. I loved Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows' comedy doctor segment about ring post-itis and all the clean dick references they made. Classic. Hilarious. I loved it. It was great. I want to see more out of these guys. I want to see what else they can do to be really entertaining, because that really was good. It would be Dr. Gallows up next to take on Kofi Kingston, and it was a very short match to say the least, as Gallows would get the win over Kofi, and then the club would attempt to diagnose their next case of ring post-itis on Kofi Kingston until Xavier Woods made the save with a steel chair. Now I wonder, will WWE let the New Day surpass the original tag team title record that is still held to this very day by axe and smash of demolition? And Mick Foley would bring out Daniel Bryan next, and after exchanging friendly compliments with each other, Foley would immediately turn a 180 and brought up the footage of Bryan mocking the creation of the Universal title from last week's Talking Smack after show, which for some strange reason brought out the United States champion Rusev sans his cake-covered bride to basically kiss up to Foley in an attempt to get out of his match with Reigns at SummerSlam. Then, of all people, Cesaro showed up to call Foley on his word he gave him and Sheamus last week, and Foley agreed and gave Cesaro his shot at the United States Championship. Overall, the match was worked really well, but I need to restate something I said earlier in this commentary. That if WWE wanted to pursue the Sheamus-Cesaro storyline as evidenced by Sheamus' interference in the match, which would lead to Rusev hitting a super kick on Cesaro to pick up the win and retain the United States title, then they would have to do something like this to continue the angle, due to the fact that Cesaro went over in the first two matches, so the rubber match angle was completely thrown out the window. But now, since they did work the angle like this, look for a SummerSlam match between these two to be announced within a week or so. Raw would close out with Reigns spearing Rusev on the ramp, much to the delight of the fans in attendance. Overall score on Raw this week gets a 3.75 out of 5, with best match of the night going to Rusev versus Cesaro. Best segment of the night goes to Lana getting covered in cake, for obvious reasons. And with worst match of the night going to Braun Strowman squashing another jobber, because it feels too much like a Ryback build, and then I don't think Strowman could pull off a Ryback gimmick. Even Ryback couldn't pull off a Ryback gimmick. Gulf Coast Wrestling presents the Back to School Bash Friday, August 12th at the City Park Rec Center in New Iberia, Louisiana, and Saturday, August 13th at the Amelia Recreational Center in Amelia, Louisiana. Scheduled to appear the GCW Heavyweight Champion Gil Gracie, Christian Blake, Kid Chronic, Andrew Anderson, Stoneman, the GCW Tag Team Champions Mustang and Psycho Mike, The Cali Heat, and more. For ticket information on the Friday show in New Iberia, call 337-392-1569. And for ticket information on the Saturday show in Amelia, call 985-631-2032. Also coming up on August 20th, Gulf Coast Wrestling presents the Mayor's Cup in memory of Mayor Tony Collada at the Copac Gym in Plaquemine, Louisiana, featuring special guest ECW legend The Sandman. For ticket information, call 225-329-58 888-938-2216. Also, don't forget I go live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central Time with Nick Nene Fuquay and Mark the Smart Trahan with Sports Entertainment Tonight, our live call-in wrestling talk show. So if there's a wrestling topic you want to talk to us about, then call into our show Thursday night or ask it in our live chat room. We love to interact with you guys. And speaking of that, what I want to know from you guys right now, the viewers and subscribers of WGS-TV, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? I definitely want to hear what you guys out there have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. WGS-TV is on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You guys can ask me questions. Links will be provided in the description box below. And as always, guys and gals, I'll have a couple videos in the annotations at the end of this video for you guys to check out as well. And don't forget, the WGS Arcade has its own gaming channel. Links will also be in the description box below. So with that being said, guys and gals, I am your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys!
And that's going to come in the form of putting over Rusev, which we've seen that match several times on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But it is...
Damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn.